tal, mis amigos? Welcome to my channel. Please support your local food bank, drug and alcohol center. If you're new to my channel, I'm a Christian street pastor, outreach worker, and on my free time, I do social media videos. Now, no little lies on this video. If you've clicked on this video, at first importance, no little lies. This is adult. Well, it's pretty shocking what we're going to be looking at today. So there's a disclaimer. Sexual energy. You know, I want to start with the Bible. We're going to look at Rachel Lamb has posted a lot of information. She's calling out Blaze, and we're going to look at her social media. She wants you to look at this, so we're going to look at it. This is Blaze and Christina with the Wake Up and Win podcast. If you truly cared about the child essay, you say, I'm calling you to donate all your profits you made off this story to an organization of your choice that supports, all right? We will not put your money where your mouth is, and in full transparency, let everyone know exactly how much you've profited from this smear campaign. So we're going to be looking at a lot of social media today. I don't want to dox anybody, and X is Wild Wild West. So let's do that first. Let's do this first. We're going to give you the full context. If you're just joining me now, and we're going to look at the Bible in this video, but if you want to know the full context of what's going on here, in the description of all my videos, I have the official Johnny Lamb statement. This is the video where she says it's a smear campaign. So let me just give you the context, and this is the official Johnny Lamb. Allegedly, this is a smear campaign. The idea is that Jonathan and Susie refused to accept their marriage, and they were terrible employees. So they hatched this plan, or first of all, Daystar, they did everything they could. They tried everything they could, but Jonathan had terrible performance, so they had to fire him. They fired him. So Jonathan and Susie hatched a plan to invent everything that you see in the news right now. It's all just made up, absolute fabrication, and an attempt to smear, allegedly. Not only that, Jonathan, potentially, if this proven true, Jonathan could be facing jail time, allegedly, for blackmail. So Jonathan's mom is totally and absolutely vindicated. The person they're calling Pete is absolutely vindicated. And the only reason this is in the news is because this is allegedly a smear campaign, and allegedly Jonathan is trying to blackmail Daystar to become the president. All right, so that's where we're at, and we're going to be looking at Rachel Lamb today, and we're also going to be looking at this video regarding Doug. And
they intuitively understand
all of this is because this article just got posted. Former clients of Daystar TV personality Doug Weiss claims. Former clients of Daystar TV personality Doug Weiss claims his counseling traumatized him. This article just got posted about an hour ago, so we're going to read it. Thanks for everyone who showed up to my live stream. I do this on my free time. I love you. And, you know, yes, you're right, Jason. This guy, it's, you know, how does Doug become so popular? You know, I love the Bible. So the Bible says, this is found in 2 Timothy 4. I charge you in the presence of God, of Jesus Christ, who is to judge the living and the dead. And by his appearance and his kingdom, preach the word of God. Be ready in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort, and complete patience in teaching. Now here it is here. And we'll get to the social media. If you've clicked on this video, get right with God today. Now is the day of salvation. All right. If you're lusting with your eyes, cheating on your wife, repent, get right with God, live an abundant life in Christ Jesus. We're living in very serious times. If you're indulging on sex therapists, talking about things men are talking about publicly with body parts and sexual innuendo, it's essentially a daytime drama. What do you call it? It's kind of like, what do you call those? They're like soap operas. They're like Christian soap opera. For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears, they will accumulate themselves teachers to suit their own passions. If you want to have a Christian soap opera, right, or soap, essentially, that's what we're talking about today. This isn't sound teaching. This is people itching people's ears. Endure sound teaching, but having itchy ears, they will accumulate themselves teachers to suit their own passions. They will turn away from listening to the truths and wander off to myths. Now, I've done everything I can not to have Doug on my YouTube channel because, well, I just done everything I can. But Laura Lynn has put together this compilation, and I figured, well, since we're going to be talking about it, I'll give you the context. So that's the video we're going to get to in a second. And we're going to be looking at Rachel Lamb's social media. So let's get into this article, and we'll jump back into the video to give you some context of what we're talking about regarding the sex therapist of Doug Weiss. Right on, Rob. Heart to Heart Counseling Center, headed by Doug Weiss, a nationally known psychologist and daytime Daystar TV personality, claims to provide healing and path of renewing intimacy with clients battling sex addiction. That's what we're talking about. No little ears. We'll get to the video and with social media in a second. This just got posted 1 hour ago. However, according to 7 former female clients, the days-long intensive they attended at the Colorado Springs facility with their husbands left them feeling more traumatized than before. So we're praying for these women on my channel. In describing their experiences with the Roy's report, the woman asked for anonymity due to the very personal natures of the issues discussed. All right? Some said they felt blamed for their husband's infidelity, gaslit for asking questions, shamed for their emotions, and pressured to be available sexually, no matter what shocking revelation they learned about their husband during the intensity. Plus, most told TR that a polygraph administered to their husbands to establish a baseline of truth didn't follow industry guidelines, referring to meaningless. Experts in the field confirmed that TR that the reported techniques doesn't align with professional standards. All right. Heart to Heart, Honest Pete. Now, you can't make this stuff up. Maybe that's his nickname, but it's all the way down here. I was checking this out. Benefits of polygraph testings for partners of sex addicts. Honest to Pete polygraphs. Sorry, some people say they get sick when they're watching my videos. They get seasick because I go up and down so much. So I'll try to slow it down. Sorry about that. Which shared the same phone number, did not respond to messages seeking a response for the allegations. Weiss, remember this is all allegations. Requested questions by email, but did not respond to most of them. TR also spoke to Catherine, a coach for partners of sex addicts who trained under Weiss. Rios said that she studied intimate... Oh boy. I don't even know what that is. And eating... Oh, anorexia. Forgive me. I have dyslexia. I didn't know what that was. Anorexia. Forgive me. I know what that is. The withholding of emotional and physical closeness under Weiss, but never referred to a client of him heart to heart. Rios said she noticed some red flags during her training, such as hearing from other therapists that Weiss claimed credit for terms and concept he didn't develop. But it was an account that she never from women who attended intensive heart-to-heart to cause the distance to herself and the former instructor. You know what? This is a good time to segue. Because I thought this might be coming out. Oh, Linda's in the house. Linda, great to see you, my friend. God bless you, my friend. So... this is a good time to go to Laura Lynn to give you the context. No little eyes.
Went to your church.
Back to the article. This is sick. All right, this is unbelievable. So we're gonna listen to this, but Laura Lynn gives some very interesting commentary in here that I want to listen to.
Lord Jesus, we thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you're doing in this event. Thank you for Promise Keepers and how they're healing the land of Canada. If you don't tithe, according to Malachi chapter 4, what your money is blessed or cursed? Cursed. That God is against you, he will deal with you, and you will constantly be struggling with money issues, okay? Now, you can be dumb as a doornail, but if you're tithing, according to the Word of God, is your money blessed or...
We have breaking news. We have breaking news. I got to say hello to this lady. Hello, Christina. God bless your ministry. Christina Barvino, forgive me if I said that wrong, and I record videos with Barham Kuram from Love Israel. God bless your ministry. I did a video about you guys. Stay strong. And God bless your ministry. Thank you for speaking out, standing with your convictions. We want to thank you for your work and pray the Lord will keep blessing your ministry. Ephesians 5:11. Take no part in the works of evil, but to expose them. Very encouraged me. Thank you. Chris, is that Christina? God bless you. All right, back to the video.
Cursed. Blessed. Okay? So if you're under the authority of God, your money is blessed. If you're out from under the authority of God, your money is cursed. Does that make simple sense? Okay, so in the same way sexually, you can have a cursed penis.
Forgive me. Christian. That's what I thought. It's Christian. I'm the worst reader guy. Forgive me, Christian. I have dyslexia. Forgive me. All right, keep going. Sorry about that.
Or you can have a blessed penis. I'm in for blessed penis, amen? If you're going to have a penis, you might as well have a blessed one, amen?
I got to add some commentary. Doug Weiss is an absolute disgrace to the charismatic community. Absolute disgrace. Disqualified for ministry. There's my commentary. We'll keep going.
All right, so I want to tell you how to walk under sexual authority. Okay, here it is. Let's go back to, let's go to the book of Romans for a moment. I'm going to give you the three owners of your penises. Three owners of your penis. So if you're writing, that's what it would be. Three owners, okay? Sorry, my Bible wants to go the wrong direction. Okay, Romans, there we go. Therefore I urge you, brothers, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your penises as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Now I know I took a little liberty with the words bodies. How many of your penis is connected to your body? Okay, good. If you have problems with that, see a doctor. Okay, so, but the first owner of your penis is God. Yes or no? Am I reading this right? Let me give you two questions that can be helpful tools in helping with dealing with this issue, with the guys that you care about, you know, people that in your church. And you probably won't have to write these down because you'll probably remember these, okay? So I'm going to say that and you're going to say it after me, okay? When was the last time you masturbated? Everyone say that. When was the last time you masturbated? Okay. Now, when was the last time you viewed pornography? When was the last time you viewed pornography? Okay, come here a second. Just come here. You don't have to answer me, but come up here. Can you make it? All right, good. What's your name? Dan. Dan. Now, suppose Dan went to your church. Here, face them, because they like to look at you, okay? Suppose Dan went to your church and you liked Dan. Okay? So what you would do in the foyer, however you describe that, okay? You meet him in there and you say, hey, Dan, how's it going? Okay, now, when you have his hand, make sure that you have it this way, okay? He can't go anywhere, okay? So then, now don't answer me, but I would look Dan right now and say, hey, so when was the last time you masturbated? When was the last time you looked at porn? And see, he would give me an answer, but see, usually they'll look down or the hand will go really limp, you know, limpy like that, and you say, okay, I'm going to walk with you. Let's destroy this together. Okay, give Dan a hand. Okay, thank you, Dan.
I can see why women are traumatized under Weiss counseling. That's why I'm showing you this. I did everything I could. I've done like quite a few Daystar videos. The guy repulses me. His whole entire... All right, so we're going to get into Laura Lynn. So great comment. Thank you, Teresa.
Now, I want to do an exercise with you. It's a very helpful thing. Let's get together in groups of 4 or 5. Now, 2 conditions. If you're a pastor, then just come down over here in that corner over there. You guys can huddle up. If you're here with your son, your uncle, or your relative, or your boss, be in different groups, okay? But stand up now. Don't leave now, because I really think you're sick, okay? So huddle up. Go ahead. Move. Stand up. You guys move, okay? Get in groups of 4 or 5. I can see you pretty clearly. You can use the floor if you want to. All right. Now, if you see a guy by himself, just 3 or 4 of you go over and walk towards him. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Is there anybody who does not have a group? Okay, good. We're all huddled up. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Remember those 2 questions? When was the last time you masturbated? When was the last time you viewed pornography? I want you to practice asking the guys and answer honestly. You're in church. If it was yesterday, then be honest. If it was 3 days ago, 3 years ago, whatever. Okay? Then.
All right. You guys get the point of it? Let's go to Laura Lynn here. And breaking news, Jonathan Lamb just posted. I'll show it to you. This is Rachel Lamb, but Jonathan Lamb just posted. So I'll get it up on the screen, but let's finish. So Laura Lynn's got some very interesting things to say here, and then we're going to go look at some more of this.
And are going on here is that we're beginning to get a lot of emails. So we've had several previous Daystar employees that have contacted us. First of all, noting that it was just a nightmare to work there. And one in particular stating that it was a nightmare to work with one of the daughters, Rachel Lamb. And so this is all interesting. They're also going to be submitting anonymous letters that they will sign, but they are willing to state that it was not a pleasant working environment, that everything that was seen on camera with all the friendliness, that is not how the Lamb family had been conducting themselves behind the scenes. In actual fact, if you'll recall the letter that Marcus Lamb wrote, and it is in Julie Royce's, I believe it's her first drop on this, and I hope that you will all go to the Julie Royce report and read what she has detailed in this whole story. There's lots of documentation. There's proof that, a lot of upheaval was happening. What there is no proof of is Jonathan Lamb being a rebellious young.
All right. So let me just pull this forward a bit here. But Jonathan Lamb just posted this on social media. 50 Shades of Doug Weiss. We can listen to this right now. So this is the article. Watch here. So this is 11 minutes long. I haven't. Oh yeah. Well. Oh boy. I haven't listened to it. But we can. Because in fairness, okay. So here, full disclosure. Since we're looking at Rachel Lamb today, I'd like to show all different sides of it. So we're going to be looking at Rachel Lamb's social media, and of course, Jonathan Lamb wants you to look at this video. So in fairness to Jonathan, since we're looking at Rachel as well, and I haven't watched the video. He just posted that about 1 minute ago. So let me pull this off the screen. We'll see what this is about. And if it gets too raunchy, I'm going to pull it off my screen, because I think I've had enough of Doug Weiss. No, that's not it. 1 second. If you're watching on the restream, thank you for liking my video. More people get to see my video when you just click that little button. All right.
Most of you know who I am, okay? I've been a recovering sex addict for over 35 years, and which means no porn, no masturbation, no sex.
So this video hasn't even rendered the subtitles. So this must have just gotten posted, like, see that? This got posted 44 minutes ago. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I don't want to listen too much of this guy. Guy's a creep. Playback speed. How do I speed this up a bit? Even for my own viewers or for my own ears, I don't want to listen to too much of this guy.
outside of marriage, taking a polygraph to prove that. I'm the president of the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy. I'm the executive director of Heart to Heart Counseling Center. People fly in to Colorado Springs and do intensives 3 or 5 days every week of the year. And so I've been doing this work for over 35 years. I have taken more masturbation porn histories than any man on the planet, bar none. Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Weiss.
What did he just say?
For 35 years. I have taken more masturbation porn histories than any man
I've taken more something history
on the planet, bar none. Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Weiss, and today's topic is, why do I masturbate? So many people masturbate.
All right, so this is a thing here.
And we've helped just endless amounts of people in their marriages, in sexual addiction, in intimacy anorexia, in betrayal trauma, and I'm also the president of the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy, so I train counselors all over the world.
Can you believe that? Can you even believe that you could stop masturbating? I mean, if you're watching this, you probably have tried. But I've been free for over 30 years. And I have taught thousands of men and women how to stop masturbating today.
All right. Let's go back to the article. You get the point. How do I do this? All right. Now, that was Jonathan Land, 50 Shades of Dr. Doug. Who is Dr. Weiss? Enlightening new video by Jane Nelson. Watch here. So we watched a little bit. This is the article we're reading right now. Former clients of Daystar TV personality Doug Weiss claims that his counseling traumatized them. Even though I was a coach trained and certified in the topic of intimacy anorexia, I did not feel like it was safe enough to me send my betrayed partners there. They've already in trauma and they are lacking safety in their marriage. To hear some of the stories I was hearing, I didn't feel like it was appropriate. The allegations about Weiss are surfacing now due to his proximity of this scandal. I don't know what that is. Burgeoning at the Christian broadcast behemoth Daystar TV, which is first reported. Weiss hosts a show called Healing Time with Dr. Weiss. And co-host Ministry Now, his wife. Daystar president Joni Lamb recently had been accused of her son. We'll go over to Rachel Lamb in a second here. Jonathan and Susie Lamb of the SA. Jonathan and Susie also discuss Weiss of a lack of biblical grounds to divorce his wife of more than 30 years, making his current marriage to Joni adulterous. Now, right, so a few months after Marcus died, he divorced his wife, jumped into the marriage with Joni. This is conviction caused Jonathan and Susie to refuse a direction from Joni Lamb, what led to the contentious secret recorded meetings in July 2023, which went viral. I'm scared to press these buttons because I don't want to dox anybody. Okay, this is it here. So we've watched this. We've already documented that. TR also reported the allegations charged to $100,000. And I've always asked, why is Joni paying for Doug's resort hotel for $100,000? Doesn't he have his own money? Why didn't they go 50-50? I don't know. Jonathan is, and by the way, full disclosure, just so I don't, for my deposition, because the threat letter, right? Not a single penny was spent of Daystar's. That's the official narrative. And under the word and testimony, Joni Lamb paid for it all. It's quite common, allegedly, that they would use ministry credit cards and reimburse them for their honeymoons. Allegedly, possibly it happens all the time. Somebody in a ministry gets married, they just rack everything up to the church, and then they reimburse them when they get home. So this is like operating standard. The woman pays $100,000 for the honeymoon on the church's credit card, and then the reimbursement, allegedly. The reimbursed ministry only charged, see there it is there, for my deposition, I said it, reimbursed. All right, and I've said a few times, that is a $400 cupcake. Right there, that cappuccino, $5,000. Somehow they got to spend $100,000 for their honeymoon. Oh, look at too much Botox. Allegedly, all right. The Messianic Ministry, Love Israel, yesterday pulled its programming, claiming the standards of moral, family, marriage, and stewardship. Weiss divorced his marriage was mentioned by the disenfranchised former clients who spoke with TR. The woman who already suffered trauma due to their husband's betrayal said they felt betrayed again when they learned Weiss didn't. Okay, so here it is. Here, are you watching this? Okay, so let's get serious here for a second. Here, Weiss divorce and remarriage was mentioned by the disenfranchised former clients who spoke with the woman. All right, so the women are saying who already suffered trauma due to the. Says terrible. So we're praying for the women on my channel. Said they felt betrayed again when they learned that Weiss didn't heal his own marriage but concealed his divorce for 8 months. So what they're saying is, Mr. Sex Therapist, with the telling people how to have great sex in their marriages, didn't reveal the fact that he divorced his wife and remarried Joni. That's what they're saying. They didn't heal their own marriage, concealed the divorce. Allegedly, Weiss divorced his wife more than 30 years in May 2022. This is the judge, Chad. February 24, 2022. This is, boy, Julie Roy sure does do her homework. It cost $12. A total of $278. Divorced his wife. And of course, didn't announce his divorce publicly until February 8th, 2023. In the meantime, he was counseling clients under the pretense that his marriage was successful. The former clients say, wow, so that they can document that. So what they're saying is he's going through a divorce and giving marriage counseling. He also dated and got engaged to Lamb during this period. He and Lamb married June 10th. Women professional questions polygraph techniques. All right, now we're getting to Honest Pete polygraph. The intensive of the heart-to-heart often centered around the results of the polygraph taken by spouses battling addiction. Weiss, former clients, told TR before the test is administered, the couple reportedly meets with a counselor, and the spouse is expected to come clean about his or her entire sexual history. Several women told TR that during the meeting, they learned their husband's sexual behavior was much worse than they expected. Some learned of additional sexual partners, including prostitutes. One woman told TR she felt admonished for showing a facial reaction as she learned that her husband's addictions went much deeper than what she imagined. When he confessed pre-polygraph to some really horrible things that he had been into, I was floored. It's terrible. It's terrible. I was silent, but my jaw dropped before I could say anything. The counselor said, okay, it's just really that bad, the woman said. The counselor was letting me know I could not react organically. It was shaming my response and minimalizing the partner's depraved behavior. I never got an organic response and disclosure because the counselor shut it down to protect him. Honest Pete. Many of the wives said that they were still in shock from the pre-polygraph revelations during their ex-husband's exam. I've never heard anything so crazy. But that's who Joni Lamb is going to spend the rest of her life with, allegedly. Right? Only one of the women said her husband didn't pass a polygraph test during the initial exam, but the test was administered again the following day and he passed, she said. The other woman said her husband passed the first try and added that they weren't aware of anyone failing the polygraph at heart-to-heart. That's a big flag, according to Michael Martin, a licensed polygraph examiner, member of the American Polygraph Association, and owner of Global Polygraph Network. Because polygraphs can only measure the probability of truthfulness. You know, it's interesting. I've been learning a lot about polygraphs recently. Anyways, not absolute truth. The percentage of people passing the exam shouldn't be the high. The Bible says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. All right? Even if anything more than that comes from the devil, and you shouldn't be swearing because you can't change one head on your hair. That's in Sermon on the Mount. A different color, like Kenneth Copeland. But anyways, all right? Just let your speech be straight, even if someone is telling the truth. Statistically, that's not possible, even assuming everyone was tested as telling the truth, he said. So this is a polygrapher guy. Running even the minimal accuracy of validity tests, that would be 4 questions. 1 out of 5 people are going to be failing the test. Oh, okay, listen to this. Listen to this. This is the polygraph. Big red flag. So he's saying, statistically, that's not even possible. That's very interesting. Even assuming that everyone was tested as telling the truth, he said, running even the minimum accuracy of validity tests, which would be 4 questions, 1 out of the 5 people are going to fail the test, just statistically being truthful. I didn't know that. Are you with me in the comments? Preach. All right, Matthew, good to see you. All right. All right, keep going here. Sorry about that. Martin said, okay, so I'm learning stuff here. Martin said the American Polygraph Association research has shown that the number of relevant questions administered during a polygraph correlates to accuracy, and the accuracy dealing with each question asked. A single question test produced accurates 95%. That's interesting. He said the error rates compounding with each additional question. Beyond 4 questions, the accuracy drops low enough to make the test unreasonable. Interesting. All right. Derry Starks. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. 1 second here. You know, it's interesting. Now, it's interesting. This reminds me. Now, I don't recommend this video, but this reminds me of this when he hooks him up to the machine. All right? And they hook him up to the machine, and he's asking him questions. You see that? All right. Sorry, I just had that flash in my mind. American Polygraph Association. That's the closest I've ever seen a polygrapher. All right. Chairman of the Public Relation Communications Committee said that several factors can influence how many relative question a polygraph examiner asked during a test, but he agreed with Martin that it generally shouldn't be more than 4. I didn't know that. Did you know that in the comments? You're only allowed to ask 4 questions. As a polygraph professional, I can't imagine a scenario or a testing format that I have been exposed to that has more than 4 relevant questions. If it exists, I'm not aware of it, Stark said. Most examiners will not ask more than 3 relevant questions. I always, full disclosure, I thought a polygraph test, you had to answer like 50 million questions. It's only saying 3 relevant questions. There are relative verified formats in which allow 4. I'm not aware of anyone going before 4 revolution. All right. Most of the women whose husbands took the polygraph to heart test had more than 4 questions. One said her husband tested 10 questions. Another sent TR a screenshot of a message she received from Heart to Heart stating the polygraph examined 6 questions during the exam. So this is not looking very legitimate for Mr. Honest Pete asking all these questions. Right? Why are they asking all those questions? And what kind of questions are they asking? These men, these poor women are sitting there. You know, it's like, all right. Several of the women said after the polygraph, Heart to Heart, their husbands took another one with a different examiner. Most said their husbands failed the subsequent tests. In addition, only one of the women who requested a written copy of the polygraph questions said she received one. Others said Heart to Heart told them that they weren't allowed to have copies or that they wouldn't be important to know the questions. One woman who traveled more than 30 hours round trip solely for her husband to take a polygraph at Honest Pete's described her attempt to obtain the examined questions and learn more about the company's techniques as a game of whack-a-mole. She said that she had passed back and forth between the polygraph examiner and who is Weiss' son-in-law, the couple's wife coach, who was also associated with the Heart to Heart. Looks very happy in that picture. Right. She said that her husband passed a polygraph, but later failed one covering the same issue taken in her home state. He had since administered having the affair that precipitated the couple's trip to Honest Pete. She said, but initial polygraph results indicate the opposite. There's no distinct and real answers, but in my gut and as in my heart, I fully believe that something very evil, very corrupt, very disgusting is going on behind closed doors that no one knows about. She said, if my husband was able to pass their polygraph with evidence that I have, how many other men have gone through that program and passed polygraphs they should have failed? Interesting. Martin said it's quite abnormal that polygraph examiners would not provide a copy of the questions to the client. He also worked directly with Heart to Heart, but said in some cases examiners might refuse to provide the questions because they did not want their work to be scrutinized. If you do a test and are using certain techniques, scores in certain areas, there are standards that govern how they're supposed to be done. Martin said, so it's pretty easy for another examiner who's being trained to look at what they say. This is done correctly or incorrectly. A lot of examiners don't like to be under the scrutiny, but I ask that it's a problem. I think that we end up, and the end user should definitely have access to the final report. Polygraph examiners, they sure have done their homework on this one. Polygraph examiners not licensed in Colorado. The Colorado Association for Polygraph Examiners established and maintains a Center for Ethics and Professional Qualifications in the state, but Honest Pete is not a member of that organization. According to CAP webmaster, you know, so like, what is this guy doing? Like, what are they doing? They're asking all these men all these different questions, traumatizing, allegedly, the women, allegedly. All right. Since they do not have the affiliation with us, we are unable to confirm their accreditation or the background of their examiners. Stone said Cocking is listed as a member of CAP, American Polygraphs Association, according to the organized website. You know, it's interesting. Honest Pete's probably reading this article, following this very closely. I was left to deal with my own trauma. Terrible. So we're praying for the women on my channel. In Jesus' holy precious name. For many women, the polygraph was only the beginning of the trauma they experienced through the heart-to-heart intensive. Within hours of learning of their husband's infidelities or addictions went far beyond their suspicions, the woman said that they were expected to treat a passing polygraph as proof that there is no more secrets. While the state allegedly wiped clean, with the slate clean, they expect a quick beginning rebuild trust of intimacy, whether they have not. It was like he passed. We have now proof now, so you don't need to accept. So you just need to accept that and let it go. In the past, one woman said, moving forward, we have the expectations to have sex and not holding anything against him, but as a betrayed wife, you still need to see him building proof. You still need to see him building proof you need. You need to continue building physical evidence that he's not re-engaging in those behaviors. Another woman said she felt like the switch had been flipped after her husband passed a polygraph, and Weiss, using the results to counsel them, quickly resume regular sexual intimacy. She said Weiss identified her as an intimacy anorexic because she felt ready to resume having regular sex with her husband within a very short time of learning his addiction and lack of commitment to their marriage went much deeper than she previously knew. She said her husband embraced the phrase intimacy anorexia. And other conclusions from her Weiss later used to justify the move. A third woman told TR that it was very painful to discuss strategy to rebuild their marriage almost immediately after learning that her husband's very horrific behaviors. She said she was shell-shocked, unbelievable, and unable to verbalize much of anything, and that no one asked whether she wanted to participate in the exercise or even remain in the marriage. To say it was traumatizing is the grossly minimizing the severity of the trauma. You know, I don't want to speculate, but this is the United States. The class action lawsuit. Traumatized women asking all these men these questions. Allegedly. Right? She said I should have no other preferred female counselor to help me navigate the process of trauma and walk me through the next steps. Providing me with my own counselor should have been a priority. They said the counselor we have was for both of us. But he focused on my husband and his behavior. I felt like the deal was my own. I was left to deal with my own trauma. One of the women who said she learned horrific details about her husband's secret life during the pre-polygraph meeting said her counselor assigned her an exercise that she felt was a form of gaslighting. She said the counselor told her to write down 10 things she could have done differently to keep her husband from acting in the sexual addictions. It was like a slap in the face. Rios, a coach of partners sex addiction addicts, said that she believed some of the heart-to-heart methods for rebuilding trust caused further damage. There are 6 contracts in the world workbook that cause a lot of harm for partners because they weren't ready to integrate on the physical intimacy of their spouses and learning the years of betrayal like that. Rios said, there were lots of practices that felt unsafe for my clients. Rios said. Clients feel scammed after learning of their therapist's divorce. Well, no kidding. He's claiming to heal people's divorces and going through a divorce. Rios understands the trauma caused by betrayal because she has experienced it herself. Her husband left her with 6 children for someone else after 27 years of marriage to pursue another relationship. After 2 years of separation, they were reunited and have worked to heal the marriage with a counselor, forgiveness, and grace. So she can now relate to many of her clients who said that she felt betrayed when she heard of Weiss's divorce. This is Karen Rios. God bless her. What Doug has done is deceptive and devastating. We've known women who went to Heart and Heart, and Doug purposely lied and talked about his happy marriage with Lisa, and it turned out that he had already divorced. Wow. So on the word and testimony, right? She discovered the discernment and shock that she made me feel speak to my clients. They felt betrayed. Well, no kidding. The woman who spoke to TR said they spent $4,000 to nearly $15,000. Wow, Doug's sure making the money. No wonder he didn't tell them that he was going through a divorce. Like I said, I'm not saying there's going to be a class action lawsuit, But when you claim to be a divorce counselor going through divorce and conceal it, and what she's saying is that Doug purposely lied, talked about his happy marriage with Lisa. It'd be interesting if they're documenting this on any video. There's lots of video. He makes his living speaking in front of people. He's gone silent since this is all broken, but that's what he does. He goes in front of the camera and talks about pee-pees and sex and the rest of it. That's what he does for a living. All right? So if this is documented, I'd be asking for a refund. All right. All right. 4 to 15,000 on intensive related costs. Travel, food, polygraphs were not included in the price of the what? That's crazy. Travel, food, and polygraphs were not included in the price of intensive. We each charged an additional $2,000 for counseling service. They said compared to all the other therapists at the facility, and multiple women expressed disappointment on how much the intensive was spent watching Weiss videos rather than meeting directly with a therapist. Okay, well that's it. It would have been, and that's where it is. If one single one of those videos that was played with him regarding Lisa, they can demonstrate that. It would have been exceptionally cheaper for us to purchase and watch these videos at home. One woman said, also, can you imagine learning for the first time that has been infidelity in your marriage for perhaps its entirety and then being told to sit in closed space with him for most of the day to watch videos? Sonia attended 2 intensive heart-to-hearts and said she felt scammed after learning of Weiss's divorce. You're not going to see a sex addiction therapist for an intensive if he's divorcing his wife. She said you would want your money back because it's fraudulent. Allegedly. Barry said Heart to Heart blocked her from following one of its social media accounts after she posted a question asking why Weiss's marriage advice didn't work on his own life. It's a good question. Why doesn't Weiss's marriage advice didn't work on his own life? Eric attended an intensive began in July 2020, approximately 1 month after Weiss's divorce was finalized. He said attendees were not told of the divorce and led to believe Weiss was still happily married. Look at that. On the word and testimony of Eric, attended an intensive that began in June 2022, approximately 1 month after Weiss's divorce was finalized, and said attendees were not told of the divorce and led to believe Weiss was still married. There it is there. After learning the divorce, Helleberg said that he attempted to point out to Weiss hypocrisy, speaking of hypocrisy and lies, having their conscience seared as if with a hot iron. Since we're already in 2 Timothy, we'll go to 1 Timothy. We'll go to King James because the ESV doesn't have it. Hypocrisy and lies. Right here. Speaking hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Doug Weiss can take these couples' money, do the lie detector tests, glory in his marriage to Lisa. Do you see that hypocrisy? Helberg said they attempted to point out Weiss's hypocrisy. So it is exactly what the Bible has. Do you know who's listen? Do you know who's saying this? The Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit specifically expressed that in the last days, the latter times, some will depart from the faith and give heed to seducing, the seduction of spirits. There's a seduction to the demonic and doctrines of devils. All right? Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Online groups meeting with a counselor who works to heart. He said questions about the matter were quickly shut down. Helberg said that the intensive and other heart-to-heart programs he tried to contend so much coursework that are nearly impossible to complete and that they are not tailored to individual situation. He said out of 50 or so men he has gotten to know through heart-to-heart initiative, only a few are still married. Wow. So there's the fruit of it. Out of 50 men, there's a few that are still married. All right. I was disenchantized with the program. And I think it let a lot of people down, he said. State board oh boy. Reprimand. Okay. Reprimand, rebuke. Admonished. Weiss twice. All right, so there it is there. Everybody in the live chat, everything's going all right? My audio okay? Is anybody still watching? All right. Please explain the wife Doug isn't. All right, so yes. All right, we keep going here. Sorry about that. This is live, by the way. If you have a comment or question, you can always say hi to me in the chat. Hopefully everybody's listening. The former clients questioned the timing of transparency of Weiss' divorce, not only the first to accuse him as dishonestly. Please like the video. Tina's there. You're good, Brother John. Thank you, nobody. Sorry, a little encouragement. We're doing a lot of reading here, right? All right. Thank you very much for your encouragement. In November 2002, the State Board of Licensed Professional Counselor examined issued a letter of admonition to Weiss after determining he misrepresented his credentials by referring to himself as a licensed marriage family therapist. All right, so you're just catching this right now? The State Board admonished Weiss twice. Licensed marriage and family therapist, a protection term to be used by professional license in the field. According to the state of Colorado Provincial License Database, Weiss has been a licensed professional counselor since 2000 and the licensed psychologist in 2008, but is not a license as a marriage and family therapist. Weiss received a second letter of admonition in 2010 in the case of the state Colorado Board of Psychologists and Licensed Professional Counselor Examiners issued a final agency order stating that Weiss had not met general accepted practice standards for the professional discipline. The letter stated that the 3-day intensive attended by a married couple in 2008 according to the order. During the course of the intensive, rather than asserting the situation, de-escalation, the anger expressed by the couple towards each other, provide a positive therapeutic approach to the marital discord. Sorry, who talks like this? This has got to be some. Forgive me. This is unbelievable. Okay, during the course of the intensive, rather than assessing the situation, de-escalating the anger expressed by the couple towards each other, providing a positive therapeutic approach to the marital discord, working on the marriage, and focusing on implementing therapeutical methods for the couple to employ when discussing the relationship. Weiss created more adversity and a line between couple of elevating the marital discord. The order, see, that's an order. All right. Weiss did this by becoming an executioner. Official executioner of the marriage and rushing both of them into discussions about ending their marriage. Distribution of marital assets, divorce, both individually and a couple, and moving on their lives, writing anger letter and writing goodbye letters and dreams of marriage each other. The board determined Weiss has failed to implement appropriate therapeutical interventions such as medications, conflict resolution, contrary clarifications, goal setting, and an assistant in processing the emotional reaction in the situation. Weiss accepted and agreed the order. Thanks for everyone to watch. Let's listen to Laura Lynn for a while.
Gagnon, you've got lots of people that are willing to tell the truth and to stand with you and to be excited about your truth and to support your courage. You're not alone at all. So the other side of the coin is a lot of people are now writing me, and what they're saying is they've had horrible experience with Doug Weiss.
That's why I'm playing this clip. All right. So, sorry, that's a lot of reading. So the reason I'm playing Laura Lynn, I'll go look at where's Laura Lynn video. I'll look it up. So the reason we look at Laura Lynn is because I remember watching, this is one of her previous episodes, and she's talking about the counseling. So we'll listen to a little bit of Laura Lynn give her commentary, and I'll look up the source and put it in the comment.
His counseling, very expensive $5,500 counseling that was paid, back in the day. You go in and Doug, now this has come out in other reports, but when Doug Weiss did counseling with Joni and Marcus, when Marcus admitted his affair, or he had to, however that all came out, Doug Weiss was the one that grilled Marcus Lamb apparently to get out, and apparently it was quite a grilling, to get out every detail, what had happened, how it happened, and all of that, and there's just so much trauma in it. But the other thing that happened was his counseling with Joni Lamb for her previous marriage and the difficulties. Okay. Well, he has this company, Heart to Heart, and what they do is they bring in sex addicts who are married to spouses who want to try to see if this can be.
All right, I found the video. It's right here. So I'll put a link in the description. Daystar. All right, so this is the video, and in this video, this is the one we're talking about in the video we're watching. So I'll leave a link in the description. It's been seen 165,000 times. This was 5 days ago, and Laura Lynn has been doing coverage on this as well. All right. And so she's actually been watching my videos and commenting on them. So thank you for liking and commenting my video, Laura Lynn. So this is the source video that you're watching right now. And we'll listen to a little bit more of Laura. And then we're going to go to Rachel Lamb's social media. Because we played Jonathan, we'll go to Rachel Lamb and look at that.
Deviated. And so numerous stories have been written about, and numerous now being reported to us, basically saying it was a living, breathing nightmare. There was not adequate support for the woman as she was finding out that her husband slept with a neighbor, slept with people in the church. All of this information came out because they're sex addicts. So the wife, it was just reeling, but the concentration was on the man, and it was just not done well. And the trauma has stayed with them. They have nothing good to say.
Thank you for the super sticker, Gambari.
Not only that, so polygraphs were used that are given to the sex addicts, and they have to answer questions about if they've been honest or truthful. So one lady writes in, and this is to the validity of the polygraph, and she just says that it was just bogus because they said, oh, yep, he's passed. And here's what happens after they do this polygraph that proves that their husband is just, healed and all of that. So several months later, even more stuff is revealed to her through these further little papers she finds with all kinds of numbers and stuff for sex workers. And more information keeps coming out. And there was nothing that he was saying that was true. He wasn't healed at all. The polygraph did zero to help this couple. And so he's been doing all of this, thing. People keep saying online that he doesn't have credentials because he went through an organization, he got an online degree that, and they're saying they're even questioning if that place is, even in operation today, that education facility. So it was online. It was never actually, it wasn't an actual university or whatever. I don't know. So the other thing that they're saying is that when Doug Weiss was separated, divorced from his wife, people have come forward saying, why would we have gone to you if we knew you were divorced? You took our money, you counseled us, and we had no idea.
So there it is. It's interesting. Laura Lynn was ahead of her time at the article because that video, of course, came out quite a while ago. 5 days ago, I showed it to you. And of course, this article just got posted a few hours ago. We're going to go to Rachel Lamb in a second. I just got to add some commentary. You can go watch the full video. And I just spent the last hour and a half reading this, stumbling through my words. So, and if you're just joining me now, we're going to go to Rachel Lamb's social media. I'm a better street pastor than I am a reader guy, all right?
So the issue of the marriage of Joni Lamb and Doug Weiss is very interesting. Here's a little clip of Jonathan and Doug Weiss several years ago. Take a look.
I've heard that, I guess, the butterfly feelings kind of last, I guess, for the first 18 months of maybe a new relationship. Is it because those fade away
Mine
and you
don't.
get
I got 30
comfortable?
years and I'm still butterflied as soon as she walks. Seriously.
That's good.
You know, but I think it's just like.
Did you catch that? So what this is a lot of people are alleging this is allegedly extremely dishonest what he's saying, because he just said 30 years. Did you catch that?
Take a look.
I've heard that, I guess, the butterfly feelings kind of last, I guess, for the first 18 months of maybe a new relationship. Is it because those fade away
Mine
and you
don't.
get
I got
comfortable?
30 years and I'm still butterflied.
Did you catch that? 30 years and I'm butterfly. And if you're just joining all this, all the autos come out. The idea is that it was impossible. All right? And Jimmy Evans has provided the spiritual covering that he had to divorce his wife. And, of course, marry Joni. That's the whole entire thing. All right? So we'll go over to Rachel in a second.
As soon as she walks. Seriously.
That's good.
You know, but I think it's just like people get out of shape.
Yeah.
And they look differently. Right? They start putting on weight, they're not exercising, not eating. So the reason you look different between 20 and 50 is because you have different disciplines.
Yep.
A lover never loses the discipline of loving.
Isn't that awesome that he had butterflies for Lisa after all those years? But it wasn't very long until he left and said she was an abuser and an abandoner, as we heard in his outbreak that we've played a couple times. So go back to my last broadcast if you want to hear Doug's outburst, being questioned by Jonathan about shouldn't he save this marriage, especially since he has those butterflies still. I want to...
Lisa, my moderator, thank you, my moderator, says allegedly Doug is a liar. So this is alleged right now. Allegedly.
play a little bit of this episode on Joni's Table Talk from a few years ago. And Doug Weiss was the guest. Let's begin.
So tell us, what is lust?
In the Bible.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the serpent, showed the woman, but then she lusted after it. Lust is always an internal event. Okay, it's
All right, I've had enough of this guy. I don't want to pollute my ears or my eyes with his... all this is a daytime soap opera. I'm going to waste my time even listening to another second of him. I did everything I could not to play this guy on my YouTube channel. But, and that's why is he so popular, is that if you want to listen to a soap opera and have a guy come on there talking about lust and the PPs and the rest of it, you can go watch him if you want. That's, sex sells. And what are we doing? We're going to Rachel. Now, we'll look at what else is going on social media. And by the way, full disclosure,
lust.
I pray. There's the lady. So, I pray in Jesus' holy name for Lisa, all right? And Lisa's family and Doug's family. I could imagine if that was my dad. We're praying for the family on my channel. Allegedly is an absolute reprobate mind that is not truthful, allegedly. And, he's a disgrace to the charismatic community, Christian community. Joni is communication with Marcus as a necromancer, giving prophecy of Marcus in the dream vision, can't remember a dream vision, about late at night. The whole entire, it's like eating taco chips, junk food, sitcom Jerry Springer. That's what it's like. This is Jerry Springer television, allegedly. For my deposition. Somebody said I said allegedly a lot. All right, now here we go. I'm done this video and I'm going to eat my dinner. So this is Rachel Lamb. She's very vocal on social media. She's very excited about the Potiphar's wife analogy. So we're going to pull this off the screen, and we're going to go to Rachel Lamb. No.
Light, and I'm going to tell you.
Oh yeah, I had a few people saying, please don't play Marcus Rogers anymore. Please don't do it. I had lots of comments. Just, we don't want to listen to Marcus Rogers. Give any more false prophecies on your channel. So I said, all right, we're not going to listen to Marcus anymore. So we done. Right? And I hope the best for Marcus as well. I honestly do, with all my heart. I don't need a polygraph. I hope the best for Marcus with all my heart. May the Lord grant him repentance, take down his false prophecy videos. Now, here it is here. This was posted 1 hour ago. Don't worry, we've archived media immediately. I already have the original interview from Rachel downloaded and on record. Stay tuned, more is coming very soon. So Rachel Ann is saying that it's absolute vindication and a smear campaign. All right? Allegedly. Rachel, Julie just posted a quick video editing out the part where Jonathan... Oh boy. So Rachel's posted this. I don't want to dox anybody. All right. All right, I gotta be careful with my social media here. I don't want to dox anyone. Social media is there we go. So Rachel Lamb posted this. So 1 second here. This is X. So I gotta be careful on X. All right. All right. So she's recorded everything. Rachel has recorded everything, and they're looking for everything. Interesting enough, I had a lawyer contact me privately, and they are actually saying very similar things to what Rachel is saying, that they are absolutely, every single thing that Jonathan and Susie say is absolutely documented. Better a bag full of cats than a room full of lies. Pete's wife is angrier than a bag full of cats. All right, see that? I'm kind of scared about Twitter if there's going to get any doxing here. Very good analysis. More is coming very soon. So this was 4 hours ago. What it looks like to me, Eric Menendez, Eric Bowles, somebody's going to be doing interviews. This is what I think's going to happen. That, if I were to have a prediction, because they already have Marcus Rogers repenting and saying that everything, right here, we did Marcus. Oh, she just must have taken it down. Oh, what's going on here? What, did she just delete that video? 1 second here. So that's what I think. There's allegedly speculation that they're gonna start seeing. Sorry, I'm just having some technical difficulties. I changed my screen size. Oh, here's another video. Oh, that's another video. Okay, so 1 second here. Sorry, everybody. I just got to be, when on X, you never know what's going to happen. So, look at, she took down, did you see that? She took down the other video. More receipts. This is, okay, so here it is here. 3 minutes ago. This is breaking news. We have breaking news. It happened in real time. I was looking at her social media. This was 3 minutes ago. All right, breaking news. This is I haven't even read this yet. Claim 1, Pete was alone. All right, episode number 1. The truth, Pete wasn't alone. Julie later retracted, admitting Jonathan and Susie. And I played that with my other video, the original audio that Jonathan told Julie. I've already played that. It's on my social media. So this is breaking news right now. Julie Royce. This is what she wants. Oh, this is a video. Look at this is a video. We can watch this.
It's Pete's story that he was. The truth about Pete. Julie Royce and Jonathan and Susie Lamb have made serious accusations, but their story keeps changing. Let's break it down. Claim number 1, Pete was alone. Julie Royce initially claimed Pete was alone in the room with Jonathan and Susie's daughter, but here's the truth. The truth, Pete wasn't alone. Julie later retracted, admitting Jonathan and Susie's 8-year-old son was in the room. Pete was holding his baby.
Well, in fairness, these are captions. In fairness to Julie, she played the original audio. It's on my social media. I'm going to go back behind the scenes and I'm going to pull up my Twitter. I have it clipped out. So we'll look at that video as well. So this is breaking news.
This changes everything. Claim number 2, Pete was staring. Julie Roys implied Jonathan caught Pete staring at his daughter while she was naked. But now, Jonathan says something very different. Jonathan's own words. In a recent Dallas Morning News article, Jonathan corroborates Pete's story that he was standing by the window holding his baby. He also admits he doesn't even know if Pete was looking at his daughter. The article says, "There's my daughter, completely naked, and the relative is in the room," Jonathan Lamb said. The relative was standing by a window with his baby, Jonathan Lamb said. Jonathan Lamb said things happened so quickly that he's not sure whether the relative was looking at his daughter. If Jonathan doesn't know, why was this accusation made? 2 massive contradictions. Number 1, Pete wasn't alone in the room. 2 other kids were present. Number 2, Jonathan admits he can't confirm Pete was even looking at his daughter. How can their story be trusted when the details keep changing? The bigger picture. These evolving accusations are destroying lives. The story keeps changing because it isn't based on truth. The truth matters. The truth about Julie Roy's 1216 podcast, Susie and Jonathan's contradictions exposed.
All right, so this is 32 minutes. I'm just going to go back to, we're at 147. So this is their defense. So this is it. This is their social media campaign. All right, so we'll listen to it. And we're praying. Like I said, wherever the truth leads us, we're going to look at it. This is a 32-minute. Here, we can speed this up a bit.
Stating that he took her to meet with Joni to see if she would disclose anything about the alleged incident.
The audio's okay?
He implies that after this meeting, his daughter never mentioned it again, suggesting Joni may have dismissed or shut her down. However, in a startling moment, Susie interrupts Jonathan to admit they don't actually know if Joni said anything at all, exposing a significant contradiction in their narrative. Watch this.
And looking back on it now, I'm just like I shouldn't have left her alone with my mom. Just because I couldn't have imagined my mom could have done anything nefarious at that point. It was just hard for me to imagine that. But
we don't know if she actually did.
Later in the podcast, Susie claims that her daughter told her the night before she reported the alleged abuse at the school that the person who touched her was, quote unquote, taller than daddy. This detail is presented as a critical aspect of her narrative. Watch this.
My daughter that night before had told me, I asked her boy or a girl. Yeah. She said boy. Okay, how?
All right, so I'm getting that the audio is low. So if the audio is low, I can just give you a link in the description. You can go watch this yourself. But if you want me to keep going, let me know.
Tall. I was trying to gauge an age maybe. And so she said taller than daddy.
However, this assertion directly conflicts with Susie's own real-time text messages at the time of the incident, where she consistently referred to the alleged abuser as a boy. If Susie believed the abuser was a man, why did she repeatedly describe him as a boy in her communications during that time? For example, after reporting the incident to the police, Susie took her daughter to her pediatrician for an examination, which confirmed there was...
Okay, so if you don't know what's going on, Rachel Lamb, Joni Lamb say it's a smear campaign, it's zero validity, and what they're doing now is that they're showing the inconsistencies of the interviews, allegedly. And this is their side of it. So it looks like this is all going on social media. This is their defense. This is the big defense.
There's no physical evidence.
It's half an hour long. Well,
on November 6, 2020, Susie relayed the doctor's findings in a text message to Rachel saying, "Dr. Robert said my daughter is good. No damage, no scarring, no UTI or infection, praise God." When Rachel asked about the pain her daughter had been experiencing, Susie explained it was due to constipation caused by dairy, which was putting pressure on her bladder. Rachel then asked if Susie would allow her daughter to return to school, to which Susie replied, "Yeah, as of now, I think it's okay because that boy isn't there anymore, and she loves her class and teacher." Susie's confidence in sending her daughter back to school just days after the alleged incident strongly suggests she felt certain about the boy's identity and was comfortable with her daughter returning to the same environment where the alleged abuse occurred. A few weeks later, on November 20th, 2020, Susie texted Rachel a prophetic word her best friend had for her daughter. In response, Rachel asked, "Does she know what happened?" Susie replied, "Not really. I didn't want to talk about it, so I just said something happened at her school. I mentioned a boy touched her." Here we see, on two separate occasions, both immediately right after the incident on November 6th and weeks later on November 20th, Susie consistently referred to the alleged abuser as a boy. These real-time text messages confirm that her daughter identified the abuser as a boy, not a man, as Susie would later falsely claim. This glaring inconsistency raises serious questions about the credibility of Susie's evolving narrative. Later in the podcast interview, Susie admits to asking her daughter leading questions about the alleged abuse, which inherently suggests the possibility of influencing her daughter's responses. This acknowledgement raises concerns about whether the narrative was organically formed or shaped through the nature of Susie's questioning. Watch this.
I didn't know what leading questions were. I said, "Did something happen in the bathroom, in the cafe?" And she's 5 years old. She's nodding along. She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Was there a friend who saw anything?"
Here, Susie recounts the story exactly as she initially presented it, admitting that she asked her daughter questions like, "Did it happen in the cafeteria? Did a friend see it?" And her daughter simply nodded in response. This admission fully aligns with the version of the story she originally shared when the alleged incident occurred, further corroborating that the narrative wasn't spontaneously shared by her daughter, but shaped through Susie's own questioning. As Susie recounts the alleged abuse story further, she admits that her daughter wanted to return to school after the incident, telling her the boy is gone. Even here, in this very podcast, Susie admits her daughter referred to the alleged abuser as a boy, not someone taller than daddy. Watch this.
And our daughter, this was the crazy part, she wanted to stay at school.
Right.
And so to stay at school, she started saying, "Oh, the boy's gone. Everything's fine."
Later in the podcast, Susie admits she was deeply saddened when the police closed the case, stating that she had to trust God with the timing. This acknowledgement shows that even after the authorities found no evidence and officially closed the investigation, Susie was still unwilling to let it go. Watch this.
There was no suspect, so they closed the case, rightfully so. I was sad because I needed answers, but I had to trust God with the timing. Even my mom and dad had to walk me through that process, so you have to trust God.
This emotional struggle is further evidenced by a text Susie sent on November 20th, 2020 to Rachel saying, "Please pray for me. Tough day today." Susie explained that it was the first day she personally dropped her daughter off at school since the incident. Previously, the nanny had been handling drop-offs. She wrote, "When I dropped my daughter off at school just now, a surge of anger and pain hit me. I realize I have some hurt and trust issues I have to work on." Susie's text messages with Rachel.
If you're just joining me now and you don't know what you're looking at, this is Rachel Lamb has just posted this on social media 3 minutes ago. This is the defense of the Lamb family and the inconsistencies of Jonathan and Susie. That's what you're watching. I can't increase the volume. I'll leave a link in the description. So if you're just joining me now, this is Susie Lamb testimony. All right, so we keep going. Hopefully you can hear me. And I'm cooking my dinner.
It's evident from Susie's own words that she was deeply struggling with the situation and having difficulty processing it. Despite receiving confirmation from the doctor that there was no physical evidence of harm, she still couldn't let go of the belief that something had happened. Her emotional turmoil expressed in the surge of anger and pain when dropping her daughter off at school highlights that she wasn't coping well with the incident. Even with the absence of evidence, Susie continued to wrestle with feelings of distrust and unresolved hurt, unable to fully move forward from what she feared had taken place. This ongoing struggle suggests that Susie's unresolved pain clouded her ability to see the situation clearly, leading her to misplace her grief and ultimately direct her emotions towards a new accusation against someone who was entirely innocent. By not fully confronting her inner turmoil, Susie's unprocessed emotions distorted her perception of reality, driving her to find blame where none existed, and perpetuating a cycle of unfounded accusations. One of the most glaring examples of this distorted narrative emerged when Joni revealed a significant detail that Susie had initially omitted. Her daughter claimed the boy had also touched her best friend. Afterward, on this podcast, Julie Roys directly asked Susie about this detail, and Susie admitted that her daughter had said yes, but also confessed that her daughter was simply going along with everything Susie was saying. Watch this.
She says even here another girl that was involved.
In conversations with my daughter at that point, because I was scared for her to go to school, there might have just been random conversations with my child, like, do you have a friend with you? Oh, yeah. She just was going along with everything I was saying.
This revelation raises a critical question. If Susie's daughter was merely agreeing with her mother's suggestions, how can we trust that her daughter ever truly confessed to any alleged abuse at all? Susie's own admission casts doubts on whether the narrative she has presented reflects her daughter's account or one shaped entirely by her own questioning. The issue of omitted details and altered narratives continues when Susie recounts the 2021 beach incident. Susie admits on this podcast that she knew Pete was carrying a baby during the incident, yet she claimed the baby was a quote-unquote non-factor in this story and conveniently left this key detail out of the Julie Roys article. Not only was this omitted, but Julie went further, falsely stating that Pete was alone with Susie's daughter. Watch this.
Yes, that baby was right there, and he just started to fall. The baby was a
I just had a comment here saying that I have to add commentary under the law of fair use of public domain. I got to add some commentary. This is Rachel Lamb and Joni Lamb and the official Daystar presentation of disproofing. This is a hatch plan to take down Daystar and to blackmail him. That's the original. That's what they're going with. So this is their defense on social media. I just got to add some commentary. I lost the comment. So comment below what you think about this. We got another 20 minutes.
factor.
The contradictions don't stop there. When Julie Roys questioned Jonathan about where Pete was during the incident, Jonathan admits that Pete was standing by the window, not near his daughter. Watch this.
They're saying he's looking out the window in some of these.
Pete is by the window.
Jonathan then takes it a step further, definitively stating that Pete was not next to his daughter, did not have his hands on her, and was simply in the room during the incident. Watch this.
So he was not next to, he didn't have his hands on her, but he was in the room with, it's in room.
From there, Susie attempts to justify why they are making such a big deal out of the 2021 beach incident. She acknowledges that people might question the significance of the situation if Pete's hands weren't on her daughter, claiming she wants to explain a pattern. However, she uses this highly suggestive language to describe what was in reality an innocent event. Watch this.
I would like to explain the pattern because in 2020 on that beach, on a different beach vacation in 2020, our leadership retreat of Daystar, Pete himself told me that my child walked on him in the bathroom, full frontal naked, and saw him fully nude.
What she is referring to is a single instance when her daughter accidentally walked in on Pete while he was taking a shower at the beach. Why is she framing such an innocent situation in such a...
All right. See, I like to get both sides. Now Rachel Lamb is saying that the daughter did see Pete naked in the bathroom. Keep going. So that's confirmed it. That's the official. Like, what's going on with this? Why? All right, let's keep going.
A provocative way. Julie Roys then presses Susie on another critical point. Watch this.
Doors have locks, correct?
And silence. Susie doesn't answer the question. Why? Because she knew the lock was broken. More on that story below. Stay with.
The lock was broken. That is why. So this is all scripted. This is okay. Look at this. The silence. Susie doesn't answer the question. Why? Because she knew the lock was broken. I'm just finding this out now. The reason why the daughter saw Pete naked, full nakedness. More on that story begin. Another layer is that this involved narrative. Julie Roys herself admitted that Jonathan and Susie told Pete. All right, let's keep going. This just got posted 3 minutes ago, so I'm just listening to this now.
Adding another layer to this evolving narrative, Julie Royce herself admits that Jonathan and Susie told her Pete was holding a baby during the 2021 incident. Yet, she chose to leave this key fact out of her reporting. Not only did she omit it, but she falsely claimed in her original article that Pete was alone in the room. The article has since been altered, but this clear admission shows she intentionally misrepresented the facts to support their narrative. Original article, new article. Watch this.
There's been just a really big deal out of the fact that I did not mention in my story that Pete was holding a 1-year-old baby, that between interview number 1 and interview number 2 with Joni became fussy. But this 1-year-old baby, I didn't include it because, not because you didn't tell me, because you guys did tell me. In fact, I had it in my initial copy, and when I'm trimming my article, I trimmed it out because, again, I'm trying to make sure that any extraneous details aren't in there. I know you don't want to really include other children, but it was a non-factor.
Julie further reveals that Jonathan and Susie's son was also in the room during the incident, a detail Susie failed to disclose, but Jonathan shared with her. Why did Susie leave out such an important fact? Watch this.
But you did mention that your son was in the room, and I'll just be honest. At the time that I was writing this, I went back, I went through all my notes. This part, it wasn't in Susie's account, it was in your account.
As the podcast continued, Susie admits to speaking with Denise before the executive retreat about her suspicions of Pete. By Susie's own admission, this conversation left her feeling scared to attend the trip, suggesting that Denise may have amplified her fears and influenced her mindset before the retreat even began. Watch this.
A lot of incidents were building up to where I finally, when I was alone with Miss Denise Boggs, got to confide in her. And she said, oh, wow, this is looking this way. I know you don't want to go there, put your mind there because you could, you're taking the weight of this family.
Right.
But I remember that conversation, but we have to talk about some things.
Right.
So on this vacation, I was honestly even scared to go.
If Susie was truly so scared, why would she go on the trip at all? And if she already had concerns about Pete before the executive retreat, why would she allow her daughter to go upstairs with him in the first place? These actions completely contradict her claimed fears and raise serious questions about the validity of her narrative. Twisting the truth, the 2020 bathroom incident debunked. Following the 2021 beach incident with Jonathan and Pete, a family meeting was held on the bottom floor of the house to discuss what happened. During this meeting, Susie revisited an event from when the family attended a previous executive retreat. The home they stayed in had a unique design with only one bedroom located on the main floor. All the other bedrooms were upstairs. Because Pete's wife was pregnant at the time, Joni graciously decided to assign them the bedroom on the main level, understanding that frequent trips up and down the stairs would be physically taxing for her. Pete and his wife's room had the only bathroom on the main floor, conveniently located next to the kitchen and the living area. Although this would have been the easiest bathroom for everyone, Joni clearly informed the family that due to the heightened concern.
Thank you, Paul, for the super chat. Paul says this is absolutely gaslighting by Rachel Joni Jr. Lamb. Thank you for the support, my street ministry outreach. God bless you.
Concerns about COVID.
And by the way, there's other stuff on Rachel Lamb's social media we're going to look at. We still have 15 more minutes. In fairness to Rachel Lamb, I've presented both sides. We're going to play this. And
they were to use their own bathrooms throughout the trip. On the first day of this retreat, when the family noticed Netflix wasn't working, they called the maintenance man to fix it. While there, Pete and his wife also asked him to look at their bathroom door, as the lock was broken. Unfortunately, the maintenance man was unable to fix it. Pete and his wife placed a small side table in front of the door to ensure privacy, especially since the bathroom was so centrally located. This made it difficult to open the door, serving as a precaution since the lock wasn't functioning. Despite these measures, one time during the trip, Jonathan and Susie's daughter accidentally walked in on Pete while he was showering. Pete immediately turned away, asked her to leave, which she did, and after getting dressed, found Susie to inform her of what had happened. Susie laughed it off, telling him it was no big deal and that he shouldn't worry about it. Pete didn't think anything else of it, and the executive retreat continued without issue. The fact that this isolated incident is now being twisted and used as evidence against Pete is appalling. Pete acted appropriately, immediately notifying the child's mother. It is grossly unfair to frame this as anything other than what it was, an accidental moment with no ill intent, caused by circumstances beyond his control. Exposing the timeline, receipts versus Denise's false claims. After the 2021 retreat, tensions remain high within the family. So on August 10th through the 12th, 2021, Marcus and Joni sent Jonathan and Susie and their children to North Carolina to meet with Denise Boggs, their counselor, and Debbie Linhart, LFC, a professional forensic child psychologist. Debbie conducted a full interview with their daughter, who did not mention any abuse. These dates are fully corroborated by Jonathan Lamb's credit card receipts, providing clear and irrefutable evidence of the timeline. This directly contradicts Denise Boggs' inaccurate claim during her interview with Laura Lynn Thompson, in which she stated that Pete and his wife visited her first, while Jonathan and Susie came later. Watch this.
What happened with that? Did this person step in and begin interviewing all the family members and try to understand what had transpired?
The forensic counselor was Debbie Linhart. She met with Pete when he came to our retreat center here in North Carolina, and his wife. And there was a later date when Jonathan and Susie came, and their daughter, at a later date.
The receipts not only expose Denise's statements as inaccurate, but also highlight a troubling pattern of misinformation. This is just one of the...
All right, I'm just finding this out now. This is the official, not only Jonathan Lamb and Susie Lamb, but Denise Boggs is part of this conspiracy. All right. That's what that says. Denise attempted to recall events from memory was incorrect, and the receipts clearly show the All right, so Denise Boggs allegedly is giving false testimony. That's what this is. I'm showing you both sides of this. Part of the plan that they hatched this plan. They're gonna take over Daystar with a blackmail and smear campaign, and Denise Boggs is now part of this plan.
Many instances where Denise's attempt to recall events from memory was incorrect, and the receipts clearly show the discrepancies. The truth about those family visits. Following Jonathan and Susie's return, Denise informed Pete and his wife that she believed everything had been resolved and that Jonathan and Susie had processed the situation and seemed to feel better about it. However, it quickly became apparent that things were far from settled. Almost daily, Denise would call Pete and his wife with new claims or issues that Jonathan and Susie had allegedly raised. In one instance, Denise conveyed that Jonathan and Susie had talked to their Friday night date night nanny, who claimed that Pete and his wife had come over to their house to see the children when Jonathan and Susie weren't there. Pete and his wife live in the same neighborhood as Jonathan and Susie. In 2019, Pete and his wife moved there first, followed by Jonathan and Susie less than a year later. The two families live just a few hundred feet apart, making it common for them to interact within the neighborhood. Pete and his wife often walked by Jonathan and Susie's house to visit the kids, or vice versa. This close, casual relationship is evident through a myriad of text messages exchanged between the families. After Pete's wife gave birth, she struggled significantly during the postpartum period, and several times asked Pete to take their child on a walk to visit his cousins, which provided her a much-needed break. On a few occasions, Pete took their baby, either in a baby wrap or stroller, to visit Jonathan and Susie's home. There was also times when Pete's wife went on her own to see the kids while Pete was away. Similarly, Jonathan and Susie would occasionally ask to stop by Pete and his wife's house as well. The proximity of their homes fostered frequent natural interactions between the two families. Living just one street apart meant that spontaneous visits, family walks, and shared moments were common and an integral part of their relationship, underscoring the closeness between the families at the time. Before Pete's wife was married, there were occasions when, after working late, she would stop by Jonathan and Susie's house with Chick-fil-A to have dinner with the kids. Susie frequently commented on how much her children loved these visits and extended an open invitation for her to come by anytime. When Jonathan and Susie later moved just a street away from Pete and his wife, Susie reiterated the same invitation, adding that their Friday nanny, who also doubled as their house cleaner, appreciated these visits because they allowed her to focus on cleaning without having to supervise the kids. Although Pete and his wife only stopped by a handful of times, each visit was documented through photos and videos that were shared with Susie.
Did you catch that?
Her responses consistently reflected gratitude and enthusiasm, often praising Pete and his wife as a wonderful family and expressing how much her children enjoyed.
So this is in direct contradiction to what Jonathan and Pete have been saying regarding Pete. They say, well, we can look at it. We're looking at Rachel right now.
Their time together. Importantly, Jonathan and Susie's residence featured both exterior and interior cameras that delivered immediate motion detection alerts, keeping them constantly informed about any activity on their property. This level of monitoring is confirmed by Jonathan and Susie themselves in a recent YouTube video they posted on November 29th, 2024, where they recounted a Daystar security officer visiting their home to put Jonathan's termination letter on his door. Despite not being present, they acknowledged being notified by their cameras and stated that they were able.
All right, so the security officer visiting their home to put Jonathan's termination letter on the door. Is that standard operating procedures? Comment below. If you've ever been fired, did they send a security guard to tape it to the top of your door that you're fired? You're terminated. And not only are you terminated, we're sending out the guard and stapling it on your door. All right, so in the word and testimony of Rachel Lamb, the security officer visiting the home of Jonathan Lamb was a termination letter. Despite not being present, they acknowledged being notified by their cameras. So, potentially, Jonathan had no idea. And this could be potentially where him and of course, Susie, and potentially, allegedly, Denise Boggs got involved, and they hatched this plan. And this was a standard operating procedure to send out an armed security guard to do the termination letter.
Able to observe the entire interaction remotely. These facts further underscore the implausibility of any activity occurring at their home without their knowledge, as suggested by their own statements. For Jonathan and Susie to claim that Pete or his wife stopping by to see the kids or going on walks with them was unusual is simply absurd. Not only is there a trove of text messages documenting these visits, but the camera notifications they would have received further confirm they were fully aware of every interaction. This paints a clear picture of a close and mutually acknowledged family dynamic, making any suggestion otherwise entirely disingenuous. No sleepovers, debunking another false claim. While Jonathan and Susie's children had a close bond with Pete and his wife, they have never spent the night at their house. Contrary to the false claim made by Jonathan and Susie in a statement to Julie Roys, there is no evidence to support this assertion, including text messages or other communications. It wouldn't make sense for them to spend the night since they live just a street away. Pete and his wife fly across the country to prove the truth. On August 19th through the 22nd, 2021, Pete and his wife and their child voluntarily flew to North Carolina to meet with Debbie Linhart, LFC. She is the same forensic child psychologist who had previously met with Jonathan, Susie, and their daughter. While Pete and his wife were frustrated they had to pick up everything and fly halfway across the country, they did so without hesitation because they were eager to prove how unfounded these accusations were and end this once and for all. Screenshot of Pete and his wife's flight information.
All right. Screenshot of Python. This is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. Right. If you're joining me right now, this is breaking. This just came out 3 minutes ago. This is the defense of Pete.
Denise's shocking.
And full disclosure, I believe they're telling the truth, that they do have these text messages because Marcus Rogers has seen these text messages.
Observation, a pattern emerges. While in North Carolina, Pete and his wife had extensive counseling sessions with Denise Boggs, who shared troubling insights from her recent interactions with Jonathan and Susie's children. Denise recounted an incident where, while checking on the children, Jonathan and Susie's daughter unexpectedly undressed in front of her to change. Denise was astonished.
Denise recounts an incident where, while checking on the children, Jonathan and Susie's daughter unexpectedly.
To find that the same thing she had done at the beach was now happening right in front of her.
So
she even went so far as to say it felt like a divine confirmation from God. Pete's wife commented that she hoped she didn't get accused of something like Pete had been. Professional validation.
Let me back that up. So this is Denise Boggs recounts an incident where she checking on the children. Jonathan's in. The child started taking her clothes off to change.
Wife commented that she hoped she didn't get accused of something like Pete had been. Professional validation. Pete is exonerated. On August 20th, 2021, Pete and his wife met with Debbie Linhart, LLC, a forensic child psychologist, to continue their thorough and professional response to the allegations. Seeking clarification to ensure the process adhered to professional guidelines, Pete's wife asked Denise Boggs if she could be present during the interview or if Debbie wanted to interview Pete alone. Denise consulted with Debbie, who confirmed she wanted to interview both Pete and his wife together. With this decision made, Denise, Debbie, Pete, and his wife all met, where Debbie conducted a comprehensive and in-depth interview. During the session, Debbie asked a series of detailed questions, which both Pete and his wife answered thoroughly and candidly, demonstrating their full cooperation and commitment to addressing this matter professionally. In the meeting, Debbie said none of this would hold up in a court of law, and it was her conclusion that this was nothing more than a big family mess, fueled by years of jealousy, competition, and lack of relationship. After hours of meeting, Denise walked Debbie to her car where they had a conversation. When Denise walked in, she let Pete and his wife know she had exonerated Pete.
Wow. So I wonder if this is amazing. So Denise Boggs, if you're unaware, was on the Laura Lynn Tyler show, and it'll be interesting if Laura Lynn will do another update. I'll show you the update, but they're saying that Denise isn't telling the truth. That's exactly what they're saying.
Pete and his wife were glad to hear it and couldn't wait to put all of this behind them. Pete's wife immediately texted Marcus saying the child psychologist cleared Pete, to which he responded, "Fantastic." Pete's wife replied saying she's got a ton of degrees and lots of experience. Marcus responded, "Excellent. I know that is such a relief for both of you to have that kind of validation." To which Pete's wife replies saying, "So now we have done literally everything everyone has asked. It's a relief, but we were both confident in the outcome because there is nothing to hide." Then Marcus replied saying, "I agree. Just don't contact the other four about it, as of course Denise needs to be your defender and God. And don't post veiled references about it on social media." Marcus knew in order for the family to accept these findings, they could only be communicated by Denise, not anyone else. Marcus's text with Pete's wife.
This is the text. The child psychologist cleared. Fantastic. She got a ton of degrees and lots of experience. Excellent. I know that's a big relief. Both of you have this kind of validation.
Pete asked Denise if they could obtain Debbie's findings in writing so they would.
I know the big relief, both of you. So now we have done literally everything has asked for relief. I agree. Just don't contact the other four about it, as of course Denise needs to be your defender and God, and don't post veiled references on social media. So these are the text messages that Marcus has seen and why he apologized to Joni by these text messages. Comment below what you think.
Jonathan and Susie, the counselor's findings, and after that, Marcus and Joni planned for Denise to fly to Dallas to work on a path to healing. Facilitating unity, Denise's role in reconciliation. On August 29th through September 4th, 2021, Denise comes to Dallas to facilitate reconciliation. Screenshot.
All right. Sorry, but Daystar is after me, and if they decide to, they can pull my video. Under fair use, I can't play the whole entire video. So what I'll do is I'm going to leave a link in the description. We can look at part of it, but I paid a big section of this video. So let me pull this off the screen. We'll look at some of the more evidence that they have. Pete's wife texts with Denise. Can you tell about did at the house? I think it will help them know literally could happen to them. Yes, thank you very much. Debunking the cover-up myth once and for all. So I'll leave a link in the description. You can see it all. And of course, whenever I do a video, we'll get both sides of the story. And what I'll do is I'm copying this. Now, you can watch full video, click this button. And what I'll also do is once this video live stream is done, I'm going to put it in my description. So let's read a few more things that let's see if she posted anything else. But like I said, when you post stuff on social media, it becomes public domain if you're understanding what I'm saying. And as a social media guy, I can't play the whole entire video because I don't own it. But I can do commentary, I can play parts of it, or else they can hit me with a copyright. Or a strike. All right, so here it is here. And I put it in the link in the description. I'll add it to my description so you can go watch it. All right. This was 1 hour ago. Let's do a refresh and see if she has posted anything else. This could be the final step. And then I had said, this is 40 minutes ago, Eric Menendez or even like Sean Foyt or I think his name is Eric Metexas or Eric Voles can go on the Daystar and they can start posting all this information. And then they can they own a television network, so they can start putting out shows showing that this is a smear campaign in their perspective. And that's all right. Don't worry, the archive media immediately. I've already original. Okay, so I read that one already. Stay tuned. Here it is here. Malik O'Brien, of course, is reposting all this. It's it looks coordinated, 5 p.m. I'm personally playing for me. I can't imagine what you're going through. So the total and absolute vindication of Pete, according to Malik O'Brien, Rachel Lamb, and the text messages, as well as Marcus Rogers' apology to... This is imagine thinking you're the arbiter of public conduct while applauding the matters of chaos. Stay in your lane. Shuttleworth. Imagine thinking you're the arbiter of public conduct while applauding the masters of chaos. Stay in your lane. No extensions or lashes required. So maybe Jonathan will be doing a show exonerating Pete as well. Hey, Blaze and Christine. Now, I've read part of that. I'm calling you to donate all the profits because they're going to be posting a podcast. We can look at them really quick to see. Let me just double check. Let me go check to see what's going on with social media because this is all just breaking right now. Let me just double check and see if they've responded to Rachel. Just give me a second, please. Christina. So Christina has, this is beyond disturbing. She reposted that, so there's nothing there about that. Let's go over to Blaze. This is Susie. Marcus Rogers. She hasn't reposted. So there it is there. We'll go to Rachel Lamb. I absolutely love it when Jonathan Lamb, this is 10 hours ago, and Susie Lamb do interviews. It's clear that they don't have legal counsel. No lawyer would let them be this reckless. At this rate, they might as well have just taken the stand for us. Keep talking. I'm taking notes. So Rachel is absolutely defending Pete. Total and absolute vindication, as well as she's saying that Denise Boggs, it sounds like Denise Boggs isn't telling the truth. They have the text messages, and I'm sure there's going to be more information that will come up. I'll keep you up to date how this all unfolds. Thank you for watching. And if you, I don't know if you can hear in the background. I got neighbors that are. In my building. I have a liquor store down below, a casino in the parking lot, drug dealers on the corner, and the police station, and somebody's fighting downstairs. So, all right, but they're yelling. I don't know if you can hear it, but they're yelling downstairs. All right. Comment below. What was it, Jonathan Shuttleworth? Is she defending Jonathan? Is she happy about Jonathan? I didn't catch this. Is this a good thing about Jonathan or a bad thing? Can you let me know in the comments? I can't. You can't hear them. Okay, you can't hear them in the. Can you let me know? Be safe. Thank you. I am safe. There's somebody cussing out another person downstairs. Imagine thinking that you're the arbiter of public conduct while applauding the master of chaos. Stay in your lane. Is this a good comment or a bad comment? Anyways, I don't get it. I'm done the video. Thanks for everyone who stopped in to watch my video. We'll do more updates as more information comes out. That's a head jerk. It's a bad comment. Okay, so this is a bad comment. The reason I ask you that is J.D. Shuttlesworth is calling discernment ministries pricks. So if you're interested, I'll look it up. So the reason I asked that is because of this video. And I'll go check my oven. You're saying we are self-righteous pricks. I'm gonna check on my dinner.
It's not a ministry to be God's defense attorney. I'm standing for truth in the body of Christ. No, you're not. You're a self-righteous prick.
Hey everybody, Sean here, and welcome to Revealing Truth. And special thanks to John Elving for sharing this. That, my friends, was Jonathan Shuttlesworth. And if you're not familiar with him, he's the pastor of Revival Today. He's another prosperity preacher that teams up with false teachers like Rodney Howard-Browne. And he reckons himself to be a prophet as well. And today we're going to hear him bash exposed ministries and you.
All right, so this is the video I'm talking about. The reason we're looking at Rachel Lamb, this is the man. I don't know much about. His name is Jonathan Shuttlesworth. And he calls people doing discernment ministries pricks. And here it is here. It's not a ministry to comment on another man's ministry. It's good in life to show mercy. So here it is here.
It's not a ministry to comment on someone else's ministry.
Yet that's exactly what he's doing.
And I'm going to tell you, if you are a YouTuber, a Christian YouTuber, or a Christian podcast host, and all you do is host a YouTube channel or a podcast, you're on dangerous ground because you're not. You know what the internet does by itself? It gives you the ability to feel like you're contributing something to society when in actuality you're not contributing anything.
What an arrogant thing to say. I don't know how many comments I've seen that say if it wasn't for discernment channels like Revealing Truth and others, people would have continued to be deceived by the very people we expose.
It's not a ministry. By itself, you're not, and you're going to turn it.
All right, so I don't know much about Jonathan Shuttleworth, but, you know, over the years, I've had many people that have been harmed in the church, being very encouraging with my videos. For an example, IHOP KC is a great example where many of the advocates reached out, thanked me. Former IHOP director has, as well as there isn't a week goes by or a month go by, many times a week go by that somebody contacts me thanking me for my ministry, bringing clarity to the church. And people like Jonathan Shuttleworth are, as far as I understand, is he silent? We have this humongous scandal in the news. You know, we need to be talking about this stuff and bring clarity to it. So I forgive him if he's talking about me. But that's it. I'm done the video. I don't really think too much of Jonathan Shuttlesworth. I don't know who he is, but he's not too happy about people like me. And, you know, if you stand for righteousness, you'll be misunderstood on all parts. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years, and it's an important, you know, it's a service that you have to stand for truth. I do this in my free time, and I believe it's an important tool for the church. You know, get the news out. And, you know, if he's going to be silent, it sounds like he's connected to Rodney Howard Brown. He likes to be called the Holy Spirit bartender. And if they're going to go silent, I'll fill the gap. So it looks like Rachel Lamb is saying, imagine thinking that you're an arbiter of public conduct while applauding the masters of chaos. Stay in your lane. So it sounds like, it's interesting. I don't understand what that's all about, but I'm done this video. Thanks for everyone to watch. And if Jonathan Shuttleworth watches my video, you know, what does it say? Be careful, you'll end up building a YouTube channel hurting people. You know, bless those who curse you. Do good to those who say horrible things. And never take a lie detector test with the Meet the Parents. This is the one I was referring to. What are you lying? I'm done. I gotta eat my dinner. Thanks for everyone who showed up to watch. Thanks for the super chats. Paul. Paul says Brother John is Illuminati. Sincerely, Marcus Rogers. All right. God bless you guys. Thanks for everyone who showed up to watch my channel. If you want to get involved with my street ministry outreach, I have a ministry page. This is my website. It's an expensive time of year for me. But if you'd like to donate to my ministry, you're welcome to join me right here. Make a donation to my ministry. I always encourage people to support their local food bank, drug and alcohol centers. But I work on the street 6 days a week. And that's it. So if you have a question or comment, I'll answer it right now. But I got to eat my dinner. Have a great night. Is he talking about Marcus? Brother John, read the comments. All right, I'm reading the comments. God bless you, Joanne. Allegedly. Enjoy your moms. Yeah, I'm visiting my family. Thank you, Julie. Thank you to my moderators. Buenas noches, mi amigo. Que Dios te bendiga. God bless you. Love watching. God bless you, Paris. Thank you to my moderators and people that show up and watch my videos. Yeah, it'll probably be another article. Looks like it's going to be played out on social media. And as soon as Joni Lamb and Rachel Lamb started talking about this stuff publicly, I figured what I believe is going to happen is going to be played out in social media, and they're going to get more influencers to present their side of it. And that's what I believe. I don't believe it'll go to court, but you never know. Potentially it could. Thank you, Gail. All right, I'm tired. I ought to eat. All right. So, may the Lord bless you, keep you strong in the faith, and remember, Brother John loves you.